Hello everybody, welcome back to Artist Archives. My name is Nikki and today we're going to be doing a January and today we are going to be doing a January wrap up. This is something that I want to do every month so I can look back on the month and really reflect, because I find that if I don't reflect I forget things easily. It's weird how quickly you can forget things that happen in the month at the end of the month. I don't know why. But also just to, you know, keep myself accountable and that kind of thing. So this is something you can do with me if you would like to do so. I think that would be fun. I've got all these different prompt questions and I reflected a few days ago and I thought I'd film my January recap now. So the first thing we're going to do is start with a word that you feel describes the month of January. Take a moment to jot down your answers to these questions and then I'm going to share with you what mine is. So the first question that I wrote down, so the first thing that I want you to think about is, if you could describe January in one word, what would it be? Take a moment, write it down. My word was actually uneasy. And it's funny because it really showed me how important your mental perspective is, because I had an amazing month and yet I felt this sense of unease. I had this feeling of like, am I doing the right things? Am I doing them in the way that I should be doing them? Basically, God, am I on the right? Well, I felt like I was on the right path. I knew I was on the right path. I wanted to do things perfectly. Maybe I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. I don't know, but I felt like the word uneasy, which was very much not the aim. But yeah, so that was the word. The next thing I'm going to talk about is gratitude. So make a list of everything that you're grateful for in the month of January. For me, I had quite a few things. I've actually put achievement / gratitude. So for me, I had my first audition of the year on the 2nd of January, which is amazing and really early. So that was an absolute blessing. I'm really grateful for a lot of things. I joined a group of women who we kind of like check in for like 10 minutes a week and just pray for each other, and that was really nice. It was kind of like a not spontaneous thing, somebody just added me to it, like a good friend of mine, and that's been a blessing throughout the month of January, so I'm really grateful for that. Now that I'm speaking, I didn't write this down, but I'm also grateful for my some of my friends. We have like this WhatsApp group and we just post like praise reports and prayer requests and that. I'm really grateful for those friends because they're great friends of mine. I got back into acting classes in January, which is amazing. I started singing classes in January, which I'm really enjoying. They're super fun. I had one today. I got my nails done, but I've taken them off now, so you can't see that. That happened. I engaged in the Esther fast. I don't know why I said that so weirdly. I did a 3-day fast, and it was needed and it was a really good time to connect with God. Speaking of God, he won't mind me saying, I don't think. It's been a prayer point for like a little while. I've just been praying for him, but my boyfriend accepted Christ into his life and that was a huge thing. It was huge, and yeah, it's been such a blessing to witness. I'm saying this because I'm like I'm saying this whilst very aware that he's going to watch this video, but all I want to say is that it's been a blessing to witness his journey. Yes. I also revisited my memoir this year. I'm writing a memoir, started making those edits again, and there's loads of stuff on here under gratitude that I'm kind of not going to go into. I'm going to make them personal, but those were good things on the gratitude front. And in the memorable moments, I put two highlights, which were one of my best mates' birthdays, 2 of my best mates' birthdays, and my boyfriend accepting Christ. Those were memorable moments in my life. The lessons from this month of January, was there anything you learned? I learned a lot, but I'll say 2 things. Number 1, white knuckling isn't helpful. Number 2, audiobooks are a vibe. Those were the lessons. Something I love to do, and I don't even have to wait monthly for this, sometimes I do it weekly, is a what worked situation. What worked in the month? What did you do that was good, where you can be like, that was good, and then you write it down as a reminder to keep it up, basically. Like if you found something that worked this month, or you did anything that worked this month, it's a little reminder to not let that thing go in the month of February. So what worked? Me going grocery shopping once a week worked. I know that sounds basic, but it worked. It was good for me. Planning my day a day in advance was very useful. Planning my day a day in advance was very, very useful for me. Weekly vlogs, I was posting a video weekly and I enjoyed that. I went to church every single week, which I certainly wasn't doing towards the end of last year, so I'm really happy about that. I started sleeping earlier, more or less, and I stuck to my 2 cups of caffeine rule, with the exception, I think, of one day. That is good. I'm happy with that. And then on the flip side, what needs to change? What did you do that was not working, and what can we change in February? And I'm curious to see what I wrote and whether I've started doing that now. We're a few days into February, so let's have a look. I might keep the what needs to change a bit private for now, actually. I'm going to keep those things private. A question to ask yourself throughout the month of January is, were you aligned with your values? For me, in some of them, but in one particular, not at all. And then something else I asked myself was, what is the work of my life? That's a big question, but it's something that came up whilst I was reflecting. So if there is anything that comes up for you whilst you're reflecting, maybe write that down as well. The last thing I want to talk about is the art that I consumed in the month of January. I read 1 book, I read 2 plays, and I watched 2 movies. I read Try Softer by Wendy Colbert. I'm not sure who it's by, but I read her book and it was really good. I listened to an audiobook, which is why the phrase white knuckling really came into my mind. It's something she talks about a lot, this idea of us just pushing through. She's like, sis, it doesn't work, try softer. It's a message that I think I need to hear, hence I listened to the book, and I found it to be really, really good. And in fact, I bought the workbook, so I plan on working through that this month and maybe in some upcoming months as well, so look out for me talking about that. It's basically like a self-guided therapy course, where you're just like writing reflections and trying softer, not white knuckling your way through. That was really, really good. The 2 movies I watched were Get Out, and I watched The Platform. Yeah, The Platform on Netflix. The Platform is a Spanish show, but I watched it in Portuguese because I'm trying to learn Portuguese, so I put the audio in Portuguese, English subtitles, and it's really good. If you like sort of 3%, or you like Hunger Games, or you like that kind of like survivalist, dystopian, people trying to survive, like a Squid Game kind of vibe, but it's really good. Basically the concept is there's this prison and there's this I've wanted to watch this ever since I heard about it. There's this platform that brings down food slowly, level by level, but there's a lot of levels, and basically, it's horrible, like, so basically like level 1 will get like this platter of food, right, but then by the time you get to like level 10, they're eating the leftovers of level 1, if that makes sense, and that's the only food that's there. But when I tell you there's a lot of levels, okay, so it's basically about how people survive and how can people work together and how people turn on each other, and like I just got a flashback of it in my mind. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's very gory. I'll put that out there now. It doesn't feel like gore porn, like it's not like there's gore for no reason. If the gore is logical, but it is very gory. It's kind of gross. And then I watched Get Out, which I'm sure most people have watched, but I really like Daniel Kaluuya. Obviously Jordan Peele I'm like really aware of and stuff like that, and I used to watch like loads of his sketches and that kind of thing. I really enjoyed watching it. I thought the premise is really good. I've always wanted to watch it because of the premise, but then I also think the execution was really good and there was some good acting in it, and it's not a completely terrifying horror. So if you're wanting a horror that's not gonna like freak you out too much, I think Get Out is like a good vibe. Highly recommend. I also read 2 plays, but we're not going to go into the plays for now. So that's it for the January recap. I feel like I've been learning lots of skills, getting back into acting class, getting back into singing class, you know. I think I've been reading a lot of plays and that kind of thing, but actually reading a book, I feel like getting back into that has been really nice. Some things to address, some things to continue. I'm really happy with the month of January. There's some things I didn't share that I'm really, really happy about, but I want to keep private. But it was a really good month. Good start to 2023. God is good. And yeah, check in for next month's wrap up. Please comment down below one word that you used to describe the month, because I'd be really curious to hear that. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like the video, and I will see